you kind of touched on it earlier that once the film came out, you had a lot of local farmers and stuff coming over to see what you're doing. Are they now implementing?
A lot are.
Are they? Because I remember last time we were here, you were saying that not too many of them are really doing it.
Here's the thing that people have the problem.
They haven't broken through that.
I'll tell you what it is, because I asked God, why did man begin to till? Because I couldn't understand when I really started to look at it. When man was put outside the garden, the landscape outside the garden was the same as in the garden. It was beautiful. So I asked him, why did he start doing that? What was the point? Everything's growing great. That's what he showed me. It was powerful. He says, God, I created man and woman as spirit beings. And they related to everything from the spirit person. And that's why it says they were both naked and not ashamed, because they weren't self-conscious. They were spirit conscious. They weren't focused on how they looked. They just figured this is natural, it's okay. And it says after they sinned, I love the wording, it says their eyes were opened. It didn't mean they were blind before. It means they made a shift from the spirit person realm to the natural, to the seeing and the mind. And because they became self-conscious, they got fig leaves and covered themselves because they were self-conscious. He says how that affects how they dealt with the ground. When you look at those dead, dry wood chips over there, the cover in nature in the woods, your brain looks at that and thinks like, this is a bunch of dead, dry sticks. Nothing will grow on this. You got to have dirt. And because they couldn't operate in faith, they had to see the dirt. They took the cover off and exposed dirt because they couldn't believe for what they couldn't see. And it's a thing of faith. That's why the Bible says we're to walk by faith, not by sight. The natural man cannot receive the things of God, neither can he know them because they're spiritually discerned. And because man moved from a place of spirit being, faith, to a place of eyes and thinking, he couldn't get it. He had to expose it. This is what I'm having a problem with today with farmers. As long as they're here, it won't happen. If they humble themselves and come here, well, of course, this is so obvious. It so works. And this is the challenge. And so depending upon how big of a step they can make in faith, this is what I'm seeing in the spirit realm is so amazing. You wouldn't believe the calls I'm getting from people who are doing this in the Midwest. Some farmer called me, it was in Iowa. He says 111 degrees today. The farmers, we had major drought and they're watering day and night and stuff is dying. They're not being able to keep stuff alive because it's so dry. He says, I saw the film last summer. In the fall, I put in my garden all these wood chips. He said, I go out to my garden, I'm having the best tomatoes and cucumbers I've ever had in my life. My challenges, my watermelon, are taking over my whole garden. They're growing everywhere. And I go out there because I'm hearing everybody tell me I got to water. And I go back and my plants look really great. I move the wood chips, and it's damp underneath. And his comment was, I'm amazed at how little I have to water, and everything's just beautiful. And again, this is the order. And so there's such an amazing blessing. You know what God showed me about why he's blessing the cover? It's the whole thing of faith. It says that without faith, it is impossible to please God. And here's the issue in the farming. You see, when you do it yourself, you do all this tilling and fertilizing and stuff, and you kill yourself, you're quick to say who did it. You get all the credit. The Bible says God will not share his glory with anyone. And when you take all the credit, he just steps out of the way and says, have at it. It's all yours. But when you put the cover on and you step away and you say, you know, God, I'm just going to trust you. It's a thing of faith, man. He says, all right. And I know this is why I have such beautiful stuff here. It has nothing to do with me. This is totally a walk of faith, and God honors it. And I'm telling you, it's huge. When you got him helping you, you can't get better help. I mean, he's the best. This is what's so cool about it, man. It's totally blesses him. It's a thing of faith, and he just says, yeah, man, I can work with that.
So you kind of touched on it a second ago. There's some of my viewers that live in very, very dry climates, and they want to see if there's a way that this kind of method would benefit them, where they have to water a little bit less, maybe, and so they could still do this, even if they're, say, in the desert. They could still do this, and then they just wouldn't have to water as often.
Much. And over time. This is like I say, this is not a desert, but I haven't watered or fertilized this orchard for 34 years.
Right.
And everything in nature out here, all around me, gets no additional water. So I just say, anywhere you live, if you can go someplace where man hasn't messed with it, and there's things growing, then you can do it. It's that simple. You know, and even if I was young, you could give me a desert, I'd turn it around because I know with a cover I could change it. I could bring a desert back to life.